Welcome to hiddenamuraka. Today's video is part 1 of a 3-part series on the Kundabuffer Organ, better known as the Tale of Satan. Let us begin. It is taught that the physical union of a man and a woman is in essence a supernatural act, reminiscent of paradise, the most beautiful of all hymns dedicated to the Creator by the creature. It is the Alpha and Omega of all creation. It is taught that the science of Tantra is the key to the development and the underlying secret of all Masonic symbols. If Kabbalah is the heart of Masonic symbolism, then Tantra and Yoga is the brain. You see, the word Tantra is Sanskrit. It literally means a continuum or unbroken stream of energy. Tantra is a technology of the mind, the body, and the soul. Tantra is the esoteric knowledge in Eastern yoga traditions. You see, this inner technology is necessary because the compulsive and cyclical nature of the body and mind render themselves a barrier for the higher possibilities of the higher realms. Tantra is the vehicle which helps the practitioner to go beyond, so that compulsiveness of the body and the mind do not keep us trapped in the limitations of the physical and the material realm. It is a technology of belief and transmutation. Tantra transforms the sexual energy, the life force energy, into its superior aspects via sexual transmutation. As Aleister Crowley explained, if this secret of sexual magic, aka Tantra, which is a scientific secret, were perfectly understood, as it is not by me after more than 12 years of study and experiment, there would be nothing which the imagination can conceive that could not be realized and practiced. Now, there is 3 main types of Tantra, or what the West would call sexual magic: white, black, and gray. White Tantra preaches that the seed should not be spilled. Taking this into consideration, almost everybody practices a form of gray Tantra, since they violate this fundamental principle. However, it's called gray Tantra because they are not willfully violating this principle. Those who consciously and willfully violate the laws of white Tantra are those who practice black Tantra. In black Tantra, they spill their seed without a thought for the consequences. Their practices are solely concerned with self-gratification, and self-empowerment, while sexual energy is divided into 3 distinct types as well. First, the energy having to do with reproduction of the species. Second, the energy having to do with the sphere of thought, feeling, and will. Third, the energy that is related with the world of pure spirit. Remember, emotions are energy, or your inner G in motion. Now, Samuel Weor goes further by saying miserable will be the one who affiliates himself with the black tantric schools. He goes on to quote Luke 17:2 by saying it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and be cast into the sea than join a black tantric school. On Weor adds, the fundamental basic objective of the black tantric schools is the development of the abominable Kundabuffer Organ, better known as the Tale of Satan. What in the world is the Kundabuffer Organ? Is it truly the tale of Satan? Well, buckle up. In 1963, the Greek mystic Gurdjieff published Beelzebub's Tales to his grandsons, or an objectively impartial criticisms of the life of man, the first volume of the All and Everything trilogy. The book was intended to be the main study tool to the Fourth Way teachings. Gurdjieff states his aim in the first volume is to destroying mercilessly, without any compromises whatsoever, in the mentation and feelings of the reader, the beliefs and views by centuries rooted in him about everything existing in the world. His goal was to undo all the mind control that the masses had been under from womb to the tomb. In the book, the mystic has his protagonist Beelzebub explain the Kundabuffer organ was an organ implanted by archangels in man at the base of the spinal column, whose effect was to make them perceive reality upside down and to experience pleasure and enjoyment. The archangels feared that if people prematurely understood that their slavery to cosmic purposes and that their reason for existence was that when they die, that they were meant to be food for the moon, that they might make a great deal of trouble and even end their existence. You see, the Kundabuffer, or tail of Satan, was later removed by other archangels, but its consequences had become crystallized in man, and is the chief reason, according to Gurdjieff, why life on Earth is so full of trauma and evil. Now, although the Kundabuffer was removed, the residual consequences of this organ were that the psyche of humans is dominated by egotism, conceit, vanity, selfishness, and the like, making it extremely difficult for humanity to develop objective consciousness, as well as making humans susceptible to being manipulated and exploited by leaders and warmongers. Sound familiar? This master-slave mentality had been crystallized into human nature long ago. Humans were just food for the moon, being led to slaughter by the Good Shepherd. And in the ancient past, before the existence of the continent and civilization of Atlantis, there was a collision of a comet with Earth, causing the moon to split off into a satellite orbit. This collision was due to miscalculations on the part of the angelic planetary engineers. Now, according to the fourth way teachings, this led to a crisis because, in accord with the basic cosmic law of reciprocal maintenance, also known as a law of equivalent exchange, certain kinds of radiations and vibrational energies had to be produced on Earth in order to keep the moon in regular orbit around the Earth. Now, after the immediate planetary crisis had passed, a further delegation of angelic engineers and scientists caused the implant, the Kundabuffer, to be removed, but its consequences, as mentioned, became crystallized and have remained part of the human genetic inheritance ever since. Beelzebub's tales to his grandsons were central to the fourth way teachings. Now, the author went to great lengths in order to increase the effort needed to read and understand such a complex book. He himself once said, "I bury the bone so deep that the dogs have to scratch for it." The book covers many topics. It is an allegory and myth in literary form, all of its own. Gurdjieff said that he had answered every question that could possibly arise in a person's mind and advised readers to read his work once for the welfare and peace of the souls of one's parents, then for the welfare of one's neighbor, and a third time for oneself personally. Beelzebub's Tales is included in Martin Seymour Smith's 100 Most Influential Books Ever Written, with the comment that it is the most convincing fusion of Eastern and Western thought that has yet to be seen. He is considered one of the most important authors of the 20th century. Now, is the Kundabuffer Organ literally the tale of Satan, or a cosmic metaphysical allegory? Now remember, the sacrum bone literally means the sacred bone. This is where your tail would be. The Romans called the bone the os sacrum, which literally meant the holy bone. Where did the phrase heads and tails come from? Now, some people believe that the Kundabuffer organ is simply an allegory for the ego, which is the adversary of man, the Abrahamic Satan. And we will explore this possibility later in this series. But while the traditional belief is that the Kundabuffer is the inversion of the sacred spinal fire, it is the negative pole of the dual current of the Kundalini energy. Now, this is part one of a 3-part series on Tantra, the Kundabuffer, aka the Tale of Satan. Now, thank you to each and every one of my loyal Patreons. You guys really are the best. Thank you for sticking with me. It is because each of you that this is possible. Now, if you'd like to unlock exclusive content and help support the channel, definitely consider joining my Patreon. It's a little gold mine of research. My new book, Piercing the Veil, A Metaphysical Guide to the Inner Workings of the Universe, is also available now, both digital and physical copies. Link is in the description. Use the promo code OCCULT, but not hidden, for 10% off your purchase at checkout. Now follow me on all social media. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.